What is cracking? What is crack-a-lackin', my homies? Homeboys! What's going on, guys? It's been a long-ass time since I did a video. And kind of in the mood to do one. Kind of excited. Next gen's almost here. A couple weeks away. Well, you could argue the PC side of things, and next gen's been here, but mainly I'm talking about the consoles, the PS4, Xbox One. And I gotta say, I mean, I'm excited for it to be here because I'm tired of the current gen. The limitations are becoming more and more apparent, especially tech-wise. You know, after playing on PC for a while, you start to notice, when you start to learn about resolutions and all that stuff, you start to see things a little differently. And playing some of these older games, it's a little jarring because the past month or so I've been playing stuff on PC, everything's at 60 frames a second. Jump back on the console and seeing 30 frames a second, which there is a difference. You notice it, and now playing a game at 30 frames a second is not a problem for me. I prefer 60, but if it's a solid 30, hell, I'm on board. It's just when it starts to go into the 20s is when I start to see slideshow mode. It's just what I see. I want to get a PS4. I'm not really interested in the Xbox One at the moment. Don't get me wrong, Dead Rising 3 looks pretty sweet, but the $100 price tag, from what we've seen, it's not performing as well as the PS4 tech-wise, spec-wise. And the reason that matters is because if I'm paying $100 more for an Xbox, but technically the PS4 is running games better, and it's $100 cheaper, it just makes sense. Like, well, why would I spend more money? And don't get me wrong, I am a fan of the exclusives. A little more on the Sony console than I am on the Xbox. But anyway, I really don't plan to buy a PS4 at launch. Probably won't be able to, even if I got the impulse to do it, because I'm sure it's going to be sold out everywhere. The only game I'm interested in at launch is Resogun, or Resogun, whatever the fuck it's called, the little airplane shooter, the downloadable game. And that's not enough for me to want to buy a PS4 right away. If Infamous Second Son was coming out at launch, I would be there. But it's not, so I have some time to wait. But that didn't stop me from going ahead and picking up a PS4 controller. I tweeted about it a while ago, I think. But you may say, well, why did you get a PS4 controller? You don't have a PS4. You know? One, I was curious to get one in my hands. It looks like it was amazing, comfortable, all the problems I had with the old DualShock. And sure enough, it lives up to its cred. It feels great. The sticks feel much better. Triggers are better. The grips it just fits in your hand better. It's more comfortable to hold for long periods of time. But the biggest thing was, it actually does work on the PS3 for the majority of the games. Now, there's no motion control, there's no rumble, and the PS button doesn't work on the PS3. But certain games like Shadow of the Colossus, for example, plug this in wiredly, plug this up with a wired, I think it's a micro cable, micro USB, you're good to go. It's not wireless, doesn't work wirelessly, which, I'm kind of over the wireless thing. You always have to charge it, and it's just, having it wired is just much more stable anyway. And on the PC, it does work as a direct input controller, which is still limiting, But here's the trick. There's a program out there floating around where you can mimic an Xbox 360 controller with anything you want. So basically you get this program, you download it, you open it up, you plug in the controller you want to use, like DualShock 4, you load a preset called Logitech Rumble Pad 2, which is basically a PS2 style controller. All the buttons here are in the same spot. And you load the configuration file, you save it, you throw that file into a game that supports an Xbox 360 controller, which is X input, and boom, it mimics a 360 controller to the T, which it has enough buttons. I've been playing Arkham Origins with this. Works flawlessly. So it's fantastic. So yeah, there is a reason to own this. It does work, and it actually feels really good. I really like this controller a lot. And now I'm worried about the Xbox One controller. I'm hearing is not going to use the same things as an Xbox 360 controller, so you won't be able to plug it into PC right away and play it. Which, if that's true, that sucks. That really does suck. Because 360 has pretty much been the go-to pad for most of the PC games. But yeah, I've been doing that. Played Batman Arkham Origins. It's shorter than I thought it was. Pretty short. The city's much bigger. And people argued, well, the city feels empty, there's no citizens, and that doesn't bug me. That really doesn't bug me. I don't care. I don't want to see people I can't interact with anyway. So that doesn't bug me. I will say some areas lack some detail, so it makes it feel barren, like why is this here? It just feels like a flat surface. That I can understand being kind of annoying. The combat system is basically the same thing, slightly tweaked, because I notice it's a little hard to pull off punches. You got to counter a little more than you do attack. But it's a little more forgiving at the same time too, because you can actually pause for a couple seconds and the counter will stay on, the combo counter, and you're good to go. Overall, I think it's probably maybe on par with Arkham Asylum, and I say that because the one thing it has better is you're in an open world versus a confined asylum. But I still think Arkham Asylum is fucking really good game, man. It is solid. And Arkham City is the pinnacle, no doubt about it. So if you're a fan of the games, you will enjoy this. You can tell it's not Rocksteady. I mean, there's that little tiny bit of detail, the lack of polish, that you just know it wasn't Rocksteady. But a very, very good attempt and a very solid game. These low scores, I'm not understanding them. Like I said, if you like the other games, you'll enjoy this. If you're kind of tired of that, well then you probably be bored of it just because you're tired of it anyway. But it's a fun game. Sonic Lost World for the Wii U, got that, and really jarring game for me because it looks amazing. The music's fantastic and it fits the game world. The problem is, for me, none of the tunes are really that catchy for me. Like, they don't stick in my head like most Sonic games. That's usually the one you can count on being perfect. The story and the voice acting fits what they're going for. Saturday morning cartoon style story, which fits Sonic perfectly. I mean, it just fits. You know, we don't need this serious stuff with Sonic saving the universe and all that. We don't need that. We just don't need that with Sonic. The the controls. Controls are hard to get used to because two things. One, it doesn't do anything like the old Sonic games control-wise. It's a totally different scheme. So if you're used to playing the past 3 or 4 games, you're going to be confused, like I was. And it doesn't help that the tutorial appears on the gamepad while the game's still running. It doesn't like freeze the game and say, look down at the pad and this is what you do. It doesn't do that. So like, I didn't understand. I was double jumping with the B button, which I'm like, why can't I do the homing attack? What's going on? Turns out that's an exclusive jump button. It won't initiate the homing attack, which makes sense because if you're trying to like just jump over things with the double jump and an enemy's in the way, you won't accidentally lock onto them. But see, not knowing this, I'm like, why doesn't it work? Basically, you have to jump with the B button, attack with the A button, and then the Y button is also a different type of attack, which certain enemies are weak to, like a kick move. And then you have to hold the right trigger to run. You hold the left trigger to spin dash. If you hold it, let go, and press it again, you'll spin dash forever until you hit a wall or whatever. So the controls really take getting used to. On top of that, you got the colors, right? The color moves, they don't work very well in this game. You can tell they were a last-minute addition, or they just didn't care, because they don't really do anything for the game. Like in colors, they made sense. It was like part of the game. It was part of the mechanics. Here, it's just like, well, it's an extra thing, you know? So it doesn't work. It's just something there that doesn't work. The parkour system, really hard to make sense of. So it works and it doesn't. I've gotten it to work, but I almost don't know how. I mean, I know you run into something, you know, you press the jump button, it doesn't explain it very well. So you got to do a lot of trial and error, which leads to another problem. The extra life system is like Mega Man, where you only get an extra life if you find one. You get 100 rings, it does not get you an extra life, so rings are useless besides counting for score. You only need 1 ring to survive. So that defeats the purpose of getting rings that are out of the way. Why? Why would you do that? Why would you risk your life to get rings that don't get you an extra life? Okay? So that's totally out the window. So you only have 4 lives. When you lose those lives, it's game over. And the reason I say it's a big deal is because there's a lot of trial and error. So you're gonna lose, you're gonna fail. You're going to fail, you're going to die. And especially when you get to the ice zone, there's a casino level. And like most Sonic games, there's a pinball flipper thing going on. Well, the problem is here, if you fall down the hole, you don't just exit the pinball section and keep going, like Sonic Adventure. You lose a life, and you go right back to that pinball machine. Well, now, if you can't get past that pinball machine, all your progress was for shit. You lose the level. Not cool. There's another level where you play as a snowball. And while the level does work, you know, it's beatable, it's playable, I don't want to play as a snowball. I'm playing a Sonic game to play as Sonic the Hedgehog. I don't want to play as a snowball. I mean, I'll play Snowball the Ball if I want to fucking do that. I'm not going to do... I mean, this doesn't make sense to me. That shit literally drove me crazy. Just that someone thought that was a good idea. Blew my mind. So yeah, Sonic Lost World, I finished it. Going back to it and knowing the controls now, it's a little more bearable. It's easier. I'm real conflicted with this game. I'm not sure if I dislike it or just think it's average. I don't know. It's so different. It's hard to wrap my mind around it because it's trying to be so many things at once, but none of them it does very well. So I don't know. I think there's fun to be had with the game. Don't get me wrong, but it's just really confusing to me. So that's Sonic Lost World. I got Pokemon a while back, beat the shit out of that. did all the post game stuff. Basically now I'm in the game just doing the daily event things where like you can do certain things once a day. Just do those here and there. Really enjoyed this one though. I think it's the best Pokemon game ever. The flow is perfect. It's a little easy, but you know what? It's not about the difficulty. It's about having fun. And Pokemon X and Y is a lot of fun. Just waiting for that Pokemon Bank thing to arrive. I can throw all my Pokemon from years past into this game. Basically, always have them for future games, which will be awesome. I won't have to keep re-catching the same Pokemon over and over. Yeah, also, I'm now on the swing shift at work. So I work from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. Fucking great. It's exactly what I wanted. Graveyard was fucking killer, man. I know there's people out there that can do it. And you know what? I can do it up to a point, and then I just can't anymore. I can't. My body automatically starts shutting down at night, and truly automatically. It's not like I say, I'm gonna sleep all day and be up all night. I can't. I can't do it. My body shuts down. It's like fighting against, I don't know. It's tough. Fucking tough. I'm not the kind of person that loves to be around tons of people, but at the same time, I can't be around nobody. I start to go crazy. I think too much, and it's tough. It's fucking tough, let me tell you. So I got that part all figured out, and we'll see where it goes from there, guys. Anyway, I don't know. Like I said, I don't plan to get a PS4. I know it doesn't really make sense to get one. If I'm in a store and it's sitting there on the shelf, I'm probably going to end up getting it. Even though I shouldn't, because there's nothing I really want to play yet. So, but if I do, I will make a video and I will show you guys what's up. I'm not going to do an unboxing or anything because there'll be thousands upon thousands of those kinds of videos in the next couple weeks. So, that's pretty much it, guys. Until next time, peace out.